let me save us all a lot of grief by stating early on that these are purely my 5 favorite films in the horror, sci-fi film category. I've given them an order and ranking, but that doesn't really count for a lot. I'm sure your top 5 is most likely different in rank and maybe even in the films presented themselves. I'd love to hear everyone else's top 5 and try to figure out which films I'll be kicking myself for missing. Here goes, my top 5 horror, sci-fi crossover films. Remember, if you enjoy the article, follow me here for all my future articles and reviews. Number 5. The Fly, 1986. The Fly is a 1986 American science fiction horror film directed and co-written by David Cronenberg. Produced by Brooks Films and distributed by 20th Century Fox, the film stars Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis and John Getz. It is based loosely on George Landland's 1957 short story The Fly, which also formed the basis for the 1958 film The Fly. It would be insane for any horror fan to deny the absolute brilliance of Cronenberg's 1986 film The Fly. Maybe the best remake ever, the film is a credit to Cronenberg's vision and ability. Jeff Goldblum's on-screen presence as man and monster carries the film firmly into the horror genre. Mr. Cronenberg has made many possible entries, including amazing films like Scanners and Shivers, but in my humble opinion The Fly is simply his best overall outing. 8 out of 10. Number 4. Predator, 1987. Predator is a 1987 American science fiction action horror film directed by John McTiernan, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, and Kevin Peter Hall. The story follows an elite special forces team, led by Dutch Arnold Schwarzenegger, on a mission to rescue hostages from guerrilla territory in Central America. Unbeknownst to the group, they are being stalked and hunted by a technologically advanced form of extraterrestrial life, the Predator. What I really love about Predator is how the plot lays itself out as your basic horror, slasher flick. The only real difference between the two is that instead of a beautiful, buxom blonde running from the monstrous killer, we're given Arnold and a group of his muscled amigos. I always really enjoyed Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura's performances as the backup good guys who proved to be the true Expendables. Predator will always be one of my all-time favorite 80s films. It has everything a horror film fan needs for a good time. 8 out of 10. Number 3. Event Horizon, 1997. Event Horizon is a 1997 American science fiction horror film. The screenplay was written by Philip Isner, with an uncredited rewrite by Andrew Kevin Walker, and directed by Paul W. S. Anderson. The film stars Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. I remember being 17 years old and taking my new girlfriend to the movies in the small town of Poplar Bluff, Mo, where I grew up. On the night I'm referring to, we just happened to go see Event Horizon. I should have been focused on the girl, but it was the movie that blew my mind. On the way home that night, Round Here by the Counting Crows was playing on the radio when the news broke in halfway through the song and reported that Princess Diana had just died in a car accident. It was a strange night, but one I knew, even then, that I'd never forget. Now, to the film. Event Horizon will expand your very expectations of what horror can be and even where it truly originates. Great cast with an awesome sci-fi plot that really makes you wonder what the hell is out there. This film is very scary, without a doubt the best supernatural, haunted space horror film ever made. 8.5 out of 10. Number 2. The Thing, 1982. The Thing, also known as John Carpenter's The Thing, is a 1982 American science fiction horror film directed by John Carpenter, written by Bill Lancaster, and starring Kurt Russell and is based on John W. Campbell, Jr.'s novel Who Goes There?, which was more loosely adapted by Howard Hawks and Christian Nyby as the 1951 film The Thing from Another World. The Thing draws tension from some classic horror and sci-fi elements, all while bringing a cool fresh take to it all. In The Thing, an ancient alien life form infiltrates an Antarctic research station, taking the appearance of the researchers that it absorbs. Paranoia within the isolated group, along with frigid conditions, claustrophobia, and even a basic instinctual need to survive work together to become a lead character of sorts, pushing back as the story moves on. As in many of Carpenter's films, The Thing is accompanied by a truly haunting score that heightens the film. His knack for discovering the film's layered sense of dread and SFX heavy and horrifying antagonist remain key themes for this classic horror director. Carpenter searches the depths of humanity and emotion to fuel The Thing. His visual storytelling ability here is unmatched, stealing scene after scene as it drives the well-paced thriller to an epic horror ending. An underrated film when it was initially released, The Thing has since gained the love of many horror fans and it's always been one of my favorites. 8.5 out of 10. Number 1. Alien, 1979. Alien is a 1979 science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott, and starring Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, Ian Holm and Yaphet Kotto. Much like the previously discussed film, The Thing, Alien trades in the human condition stretched beyond ordinary peril. Ridley Scott's original masterpiece plays out as a new-aged beautiful nightmare. The film also re-examines the themes exhibited in early films of the genre, such as isolation, paranoia, claustrophobia, and a menacing otherworldly creature, all of which are of course very common ingredients in many sci-fi classics, even many of the films on this list. Alien does it better than anybody though. Exceptional performances by an all-star cast and Scott's uncanny ability to align the audience's terror with the adrenaline pumping on screen makes Alien an incredible viewing experience. Personally, when I think about the film Alien, one word comes to my mind: fear. Some horror fans even consider Alien to be the best horror film ever made. 9 out of 10. Well, my horror hound friends, those are just 5 favorites of mine. There are others I like as well, such as Hellraiser, Bloodline, Leviathan, Terminator, Red Planet, Pitch Black, Screamers, Scanners, Jurassic Park and many more. I'm interested to hear your top 5. Drop me a list in the comments section, and don't be afraid to share your reasons why you liked or even disliked my favorite 5 horror sci-fi crossover films. Thanks and keep watching horror films.